Hi Miguel, how you doing? Okay, great job. Thank you so much for kicking off our Project One poster begin stage. I got your three sketches right here and your descriptive text as to what your reasoning and meaning is behind the three sketches. So good job. All right, so I want to take a look at some of the sketches and some of the specifications here. Now, the one thing I see is that you have very little descriptive text here, and I think it would really make a lot of sense if you were to really describe the meaning, the target audience, the intent behind each of your posters. For example, this is just the Adobe logo. You're saying the Adobe logo is hands down next to CorelDRAW is your favorite. But what is the communicative value behind the poster itself? In other words, who are you trying to communicate and what is the idea you're trying to put forth? Now, one thing I want to say about this poster is this is just a simple logo. So there's not a whole lot of creativity here. And don't forget, this is an illustration class. So the reason I say that is because I really want you to get more illustrative with this. Try to mix type with illustration techniques. And one of here's a really good example is in this in the course example here. This is a book cover, and I think it's a great example because you've got some really nice illustrative techniques over here that'll translate very well to the Illustrator platform. Then you've got this really nice type that complements the illustration quite nicely. So we've got a good marriage of type and illustration there. Now in this example, it's just a simple logo with the company name. So I would like to see you replace this poster with something more illustrative in style. Now don't forget, when we go to the course examples, we have the presentation on the history of the poster design, and we go through these really wonderful illustrative techniques here showing Art Nouveau and some of the work over here with Alphonse Mucha, and he was one of the forerunners in Art Nouveau, a very illustrative style. So these are some really great illustrative examples. Then down here we've got the WPA work. These are fantastic. The reason I'm bringing these up is I really like you to get to a more an illustrative style in your posters, okay? Because we don't see that here. We're getting it here. This is good. I like this one. I think this is good. This has potential. It's got a lot of good illustrative techniques in the guitar and those background design elements there. The one thing I want to say here, though, is that in the project specifications, it actually asks you to be very specific about how your type is going to be set up. So your type should be hand-drawn in the typeface you choose. And then the typefaces are, you have your choices of sans serif, serif, and then, of course, where is that? I think there's a third, the following font families, with an option of a third family. And that could be something that's either display, or you could even render out your own type, like in these examples here, where the designer actually drew out the type themselves. Okay, or use a font that's more decorative in nature. Okay. Display types, decorative typefaces. Okay, so this I think has potential. I'd like to see you replace that one with something, a third idea. Also, remember, try to describe a little bit more exactly what you're trying to say. Where is the poster going to be seen? Who are you communicating to? And what is the exact idea you're trying to put forth to the viewer? Over here, I think this is a good example. This is strong. Now, one thing I want to say about this is that I'm not real sure about the originality behind it. Now, it's okay to use other work for inspiration. I mean, that's what research is, what design's all about. So we've got, this looks a lot like the Franz Ferdinand poster, which is, of course, a take on the 1924 Alexander Rodchenko Russian constructivist poster. Now, this is using photography. So if you're going to use you'll be using illustrations, so that's great. I think that's a nice take on that poster right there. A good nod, so to speak, to Russian constructivism. So I think this is very, very interesting. I think this might be the strongest of your three. But again, okay, so in summary, I'd like to see you replace the Adobe, and I'd like to see you give a little bit more descriptive text on exactly what it is, the meaning, the target audience, and what exactly is your communicative process in each of the three posters themselves. Okay, all right, good job. Oh, another thing I want to mention, Miguel, is that when you submit, I noticed that you submitted your work for critique, and you submitted also to the final submission area. what I would recommend is that you submit your work for critique, get the critique, then apply the critique to your work and resubmit it to the final submission area. That way you'll have everything in a row, and your final submission will be indicative of the changes that come through the critique comments that you received during the week. Hope that makes sense. If not, let me know and I'll be glad to clarify. Okay, good job, Miguel. Thank you so much. Again, let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you.